Hey, soul family. Welcome to another episode of Awakening Unplugged. Every time I sit with someone new, I'm reminded of how beautifully unique and universal this awakening journey is. Today's conversation carries its own medicine, its own truth codes, its own magic. So if you're on your path, wondering what's happening within you, or you're just curious about how others are awakening, you're in the right place. Take a moment, breathe with me, and let's step into this soul-led conversation together. Thank you for joining me today on Awakening Unplugged. And I have a beautiful soul here with me today that I've just met not very long ago, and she has blown me away. Without further ado, I would like her to introduce herself. So the floor is yours. Introduce yourself, Caroline.
Hi, everybody. My name is Caraline. I live in northwest England in the UK. I'm 51 years young and I have a family, but I am not married. That'll do. I think that's enough. Yeah, for now.
Now, I want you to tell me who you are today. Who are you today?
I am a completely different. Hmm. So before I was a person, today I am a soul.
That's
That's
beautiful.
some.
That's beautiful. So if you could describe yourself before your awakening, who were you then?
I was a worried, anxiety driven, fear driven soldier, basically. I'd had very traumatic events in the past. I was a single parent of two boys. I've worked pretty much from the age of 16 to the age of 50, trying to support my boys and a lifestyle. Um, I wasn't a high earner. We basically, the financially, the needs were met, but we didn't have extras. I think that's pretty much how it was.
So, at what point did you first sense that there was something more to life than what we were taught?
So, well, this was a roller coaster. A lot of things were happening in the UK, end of June. 30th of June was the first one. And then followed by the 3 weeks that followed, there were other things that happened via our government. Bills being passed behind closed doors. Um, and basically, it took four big ones for me personally to think this isn't right and to start having a look.
Mm.
And I'll say that my having a look took me down a million rabbit holes. And I didn't fully awaken. I still didn't fully awaken, but I was awake. I could see that the government was corruption. I could see that a lot of things from the past were corrupt. And the more and more rabbit holes I went down, the more I found out. And I think, yeah, it was toward the end of September that I thought I'd uncovered everything. Just for the record, you'd never uncover everything. Nobody knows the full story. But once you've gone down enough routes and angles and diversions and everything else, you start to get the bigger picture.
Mhm.
Um, and I realised that my entire life had been a lie. Every part of it, everything about it had been an entire lie. Now, in August, I was very fortunate. Most people would not see this as fortunate. I got made redundant, but to me, that was a blessing in disguise because it freed up my time to do the rabbit hole digging, to look around, to lose the fear. Because one of the things from digging down the rabbit holes, and you realise actually the fraud that exists, that you don't need to be scared of that no more. Free yourself from the chains that basically exist. That's when you carry on with your journey and progress into the soul.
And all of this has happened in within 6 months for you.
Yeah, uh, just less than that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
less than that. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, some of the things that has taken people 4 or 5 years,
yeah,
like you fast tracked all of it.
yeah. Even as much so, and this might be a question you've got later, Annie, but I'm going to say it anyway. So, even as much so as once I learned the spiritual side of things and loving yourself, I knew there was something stopping me from completely loving myself. And I booked a course with this gorgeous lady who's currently interviewing me on self love. And it brought a memory to my mind that I had no recollection of at all. None. And after that moment, the self love bloomed. I would recommend Annie to absolutely everybody.
You did do a major transformation. It was beautiful. And talk about your nails.
Yeah, so my entire life, as far back as I can remember, I have bitten my nails. Horrendously so. I won't show you on here because they're still growing back. um, and I bit them. And my mum, when I was little, made me mittens that were on a string that go through the back of your jacket to try and stop me biting my nails. She bought the liquid stuff that tastes vile to try and stop me biting it. Nothing worked. Nothing. But Annie worked. Once Annie unblocked the plug that was in my heart, I stopped biting my nails.
It was just fear, right? That's how you were dealing with fear and everything. Yeah.
Massive anxiety
Yeah.
treatment it was.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's continue with the awakening triggers. Was there a specific moment or event that sparked your awakening? But you kind of really touched on that already
Yeah.
about the
It
government.
was the bills and debates being held by the government here in the UK. Very untoward. I will tell you what they were. So I was also, as a person, registered disabled. I think somebody's about to come through my door. Um, I was also registered disabled. I was using a mobility scooter. I was on the benefits. So I was on PIP. It's called Personal Independence Payment for Disabled People. Um, and the first bill that they tried to change were what they called the categories that qualified you for disability payment. Now, as a disabled person, that mattered a lot to me. And when I found out what they were, it would mean that 70% of the UK disabled population would lose that benefit.
Mm.
So that infuriated me. Within a week of that, they approved the assisted dying bill here in the UK. And the rules behind the assisted dying bill were basically only the doctor and the person were to be in the room. So no witness. That one doctor could take away your life whether you agreed to it or not, and there would be no witness. That to me was shocking.
Mhm.
Followed by a week later, the abortion up to birth bill, which allows doctors to unalive a baby before it's born, but right up to the day before it's born. That those three things, they're big things.
Mhm.
And that was alarm bells. And then whilst infuriated by those three things, I find out that the Prime Minister has passed a bill without showing anybody to look at any person who's ever been on a benefit in the UK. They can look at any bank account transaction over £200. And that's what got me down the rabbit holes.
Mhm.
And you can probably understand why, because that's massive. I
Mhm.
mean, if I hadn't have been a disabled person at the time, I might not have got triggered.
Mm. So you see where all that like tied in, right? Ooh, I have
Yeah,
chills right now.
yeah,
Yeah, it all tied in just beautifully.
yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
I've got some phenomenal news on that element as well. So I couldn't walk far. I was asthmatic. I had nerve problems down my back, circulation problems in my hands and feet, arthritis in my hips, arthritis in my knees, arthritis in my hands. You name it, I had a lot of things. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome. I was diagnosed with everything. But since awakening properly, I learned that farm, the pharmaceutical companies are just keeping you ill and they're making you more ill. So I stopped taking every single drug. Now, I'm not recommending that to everybody. That was my decision for me. I stopped taking every single drug and I got better.
And I think you probably received, you start seeing the positive side of things, which helped you get better too,
Mm,
instead of seeing the dark side. That's how I healed because I was
yeah,
diagnosed with fibromyalgia too. Like I had
yeah,
it all and I was on all the meds and all
yeah.
like you, but it's like
So,
bringing in the gratitude and the love for yourself changes everything. But
yeah,
like you went you went a different way. Like you needed the political side of things to wake you up to get to the spiritual side of things.
absolutely. Yeah,
And
yeah.
I did the
And
opposite. I did the spiritual thing first and then the political stuff started showing up for me and understanding for myself
yeah,
what was really going on, right?
yeah,
It goes
absolutely.
to show you,
Uh,
though, how different we can all be in our awakening process.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Some people don't even touch on certain areas. They never will. And
right.
that's good. That's fine.
That's
We're
fine.
all unique. We're all individual.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, I already answered that question. You already answered it. Looking back, what signs were there that your soul was calling you to awaken, even if you ignored them at first? Well, your disabilities.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think the drugs that they had me on stopped me from
Yeah.
awakening as well. I'd just like to add that.
But I think
Um,
they're designed for that, to be quite honest with you. They're
yeah,
designed just for that.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The weird things, before I was awakened, I had signs, but I didn't recognize them because I wasn't spiritual and I wasn't awake. And I was talking to Annie prior to this podcast, and I said, going back years to at least my 20s, I receive tingles, but everybody's different. Everybody gets messages in different ways.
Mhm.
And I know them tingles are confirming what I say is correct. Um, and we're all different. We are all unique. Yours will come in a different way.
And it's whatever needs to show up for you to understand, right?
Yeah,
I feel very differently than a lot of the people too, but that's just me finding my uniqueness, right?
yeah,
the
Yep.
ease of me doing it, which you're learning too, which I'm very proud of you. We'll get to that later.
Yes.
So the breakthrough, was there a moment when things started clicking or feeling lighter?
Once I lost the fear. So what happened as I was rabbit holing, I learned that everything is fraud. No laws are real laws. The only one law that exists is, well, it's got two names, common law and natural law.
Yeah.
They're the only laws you need to adhere to. And I believe they are cause no harm, cause no loss, and cause no injury to others. And that is key. That these people have no power unless you're scared of them. And after my rabbit holes, I cancelled direct debits. I stopped paying council tax. I've stopped paying water. I've stopped paying gas and electric. And I don't care. I'm not worried that somebody's going to show up at the door and intimidate me because guess what? They're not.
Mhm.
Because they come anywhere near me, I'm protected.
That's right. Beautiful. Beautiful. Um, what helped you the most to trust your journey? Did you have tools, guides, mentors, inner voice signs?
Right. Well, so I knew the tingles were something and I knew they were confirming when I was speaking the truth. But apart from that, apart from a bit of intuition that I wasn't really aligned to, I wasn't tuned in enough
Mhm.
to that to rely on that at the time. People came into my life with messages. You came into my life with messages, and I would tingle at your videos. So I knew that you were somebody I needed to connect to. I knew that. Um, and there's been other people who've crossed my path who weren't meant to stay in my path in other ways. And I've got some very good soul sisters and brothers now who can help me complete my complete achieve my journey
Mhm.
because nobody completes the full
We're
journey.
never going to complete this. There's always going to be more and more and more. We
Yeah.
haven't even touched a little of it yet.
So for me, then, so it's the tingles because I'll be very honest with everybody out there. Some of the soul sisters and brothers were telling me they see things, they do this, they do that. They that wasn't happening for me. And I felt like, well, I've not achieved where I need to get to because it's not happening for me. I put a hell of a lot of pressure on myself and got very frustrated. You know I did. Because I couldn't see the things other people could see.
But I think
Um,
I think we're all, and I went through that for a while too. Like, I'll be completely honest, that's something that I went through for a while. Like, I was getting frustrated until I understood, like,
yeah.
okay, it's going to come when it needs to come, and that's it.
And your messages all come in different ways. Um, I was shown to go to TikTok, for example. My eldest son's girlfriend kept sending me TikTok memes. And they were funny memes, but I couldn't see them because I didn't have a TikTok account. And I think she'd sent me 10, and I got fed up of not being able to see these memes. So I downloaded TikTok, which is where I found you, Annie, and several other people. And what I find is some of the videos people create stir tingles in me.
Mhm.
So I realized that they're for me and I pay attention to them messages.
Mhm.
And so my messages probably that's the way they come, the tingles and the videos um, at the moment. But I have advanced a bit further since then. But
You have you like fast track, like I said before. Woo! So, what gifts or abilities started awakening within you? And you've already touched on that a little bit, getting the chills and all that stuff.
Well, if we're talking about right up to this moment, I now have started having the visions. That only started yesterday, properly. I've started having the visions. Um, my intuition seems to have picked up a lot more. Um, and the tingles, well, they're ravenous.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, so I kind of jumped through here. Did did people around you understand what you were going through, or did you feel alone in this journey?
Very, very alone. I only don't feel alone now because I've met other souls. Um, in my house right now, I'm alone,
Yeah.
apart from the little sparks that are my pets. Um, but I'm not alone at all anymore. But I did. I felt very isolated, very lonely. People were withdrawing from me because of the truths I speak.
Mhm.
And my own sister has been calling me a loony.
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah,
I'm not. I'm going to assist in saving this world for you.
that's right.
So call me what you like.
Absolutely. There's more people that need to think this way because that's the big wobble that's happening in the world and all the healing that I'm doing with so many people, right? Well, people, I'm like, so what? Who cares what people say? It doesn't matter. It's what
And
you feel.
some aren't meant to stay, Annie. Some aren't meant to stay
That's
there.
right. That's right.
So
That's right. Exactly. Um, so what beliefs, relationships, or identities did you have to release, if you did any?
a couple of friends have gone to the side. My sister, I don't communicate with as much. I do still send her the odd message, but not as much. And if I'm honest, a social gathering would make me cringe. Um, I am still carrying on with some of it though, because my brother isn't awake and I'm going to bingo with him. I do drop seeds constantly to those around me, those who live with me who are not awake. My brother, I will be dropping huge seeds, and I don't care what he thinks
Mhm.
because it might be the one seed that wakes him up, and you never know when that's going to happen because everybody has been set their own path.
Mhm. Absolutely. Exactly. Beautifully said. Exactly that. Um, so did you experience any physical or emotional symptoms like dark night of the soul, identity crisis, anxiety, dreams, synchronicities?
I've had thoughts that maybe I was going loony. I'd not lied to you. How can this all be true? I've had. I'm not sure about Dark Night of the Soul. I'm not sure about that. Um, I dream constantly, but since awakening, I don't remember them.
Mm,
So I used to wake up sweating, with my heart beating hard. Um, and they used to be very vivid dreams, and they were horrific, but they weren't horrific. See, there's always a message in every dream you have,
yep.
and it's about using your own discernment and trust yourself to find the answer.
And that's the thing, they don't have the dreams, as bad as the interpretation of the dream, it's not necessarily that it was bad. Yes,
Do
yeah.
you want an example? Do you want an example?
Sure. Go ahead.
So around 20 years ago, and this is how vivid that dream was, I was chased by guinea pigs the size of houses. I was terrified when I woke up, but I think the message in it was to do with, and a very good soul friend of mine pointed this out. Guinea pigs are harmless, they're cuddly, they're soft. So it was telling me not to run. Nothing would hurt me.
So going
But
back 20 years ago, does that sink?
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
So you were
I think
trying to
I,
run away from something.
yeah, constantly. I was always, I wasn't financially well off. My needs were met, but I wasn't financially well off. So if something went wrong, the washing machine broke, the fridge stopped working, something broke elsewhere in the property, I would get really, really upset and worked up. And no, 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 just no.
Yeah, yeah. The universe is always taking care of you no matter what. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Exactly that. So after the awakening, I mean, you're still going through it, but let's say
I
after
am.
like you had the big like shift, let's say. Um, how has life changed since your awakening? Your mindset, emotion, relationship, your purpose? How has that all changed for you?
So I don't live in fear. I don't pay bills. I'm not scared of any event happening because I know God will look after my soul. Um, oh,
Mhm.
sorry.
I just got that
Um,
too.
there is absolutely nothing to be afraid of. Nothing. And if there's one big thing I can say to the people who may not be awake, who may be watching this, you live on. You live on. You never die. So don't be afraid of death. And that's a big one because a lot of the challenges they send your way could harm your physical being and potentially, the worst case scenario, unalive the physical being. But physical being is just matter. You live on. So you never die. Just remember that. And if you can take that forward, the rest will come.
And that's the one thing a lot of people hold grief. I find there's a lot of clients that I work with. It's like about the grief of losing someone. But once you understand for yourself that we don't, the meat suit dies, but the soul never does, that person will always be around you no matter what. It changes everything. And then if I go down that rabbit hole, which I have many times, it's like they created the grief
Yep.
for monetary purposes as
Yep.
well. The whole
Yeah.
funeral, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And
And
it's,
then they cash in on the birth certificate. I've got a perfect example of grief. So my mum died when I was 21 years old, at age 45. I, because of the situation, without telling you too much, I felt a lot of guilt around that evening. It was Christmas Eve, 1995. I felt a lot of guilt about my actions from that evening. I didn't do anything untoward. I just rang an ambulance, but she didn't want an ambulance. And I knew that prior. But because she was dying in front of my eyes, I wanted to keep her and save her. So I rang an ambulance. So there was a lot of guilt there from that. And there was a lot of grief. And I grieved my mum. We're now in 2025. It will be 30 years this year on Christmas Eve. And I grieved my mum till May this year. So that's a good 29 and a bit years I held that grief and that guilt. One of my dogs, I used to have five, I have four now. 2 weeks after hearing some words I needed to hear that calmed the grief for my mum, my eldest doggy, in the space of a week, developed huge tumours on her belly and in her neck. And I took her to the vets and I had to send her to the bridge because it was mast cell cancer and lymphomic cancer. And I sent her to the bridge. And the day I did that, yes, I grieved. Yes, I was extremely upset. But within the same week, I'd put it all together that my Millie Moo, who was the doggy, was actually my mum had come to get me over the grief and the guilt from when I lost her. And obviously, by putting Millie to sleep and putting her out of pain, the guilt ceased.
Mm.
The grief had gone 2 weeks prior to Millie developing these cancerous tumours. So the grief had gone, but the guilt hadn't. And by sending her to the bridge, the guilt ceased. And I was free from those feelings.
Mm.
And then because I analysed it that way, it then made everything else make sense. And here we are today.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. That is
So,
beautiful. That's amazing. Like and like such a short period of time too. That just amazes me. Like I don't want to say that I'm jealous of you because I don't jealous to
no,
me
no.
is a very negative emotion, but I'm wow, like you blow me away. Like you blow me away, which is and you're an amazing example for so many other people that are still hanging on to that, that narrative that just needs to go, right? It just needs to go.
What you've got, the words that the lady said to me, re my mum, she loved you unconditionally. She'll always love you unconditionally. And that's what ended the grief.
Yeah. Yeah, because they never go. They don't. They're
No,
always
they're
there.
always with you.
Yeah.
And we already know my mum is still here.
That's right. That's right. So now, who are you now compared to who you were then?
Mm. As a person, prior to this, I was a depressed. That's a made up thing too. Depressed, low vibrating, very unsure of the future individual. Now I am an awakened, alive, high vibrating soul.
It's
That's
beautiful.
the difference.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, it's quite the difference. And um I was the same way as you. Like your story is very, very, very similar to mine. And we had the same diseases too, which is, funny too, right?
Mhm.
So how do you stay aligned when life tries to pull you in the old patterns?
Take deep breaths and ground yourself.
Yes.
Meditation's very good. I'll be honest with you, I fall asleep a lot, but that's not a bad thing.
Oh.
Um, Resting is good for you. When you're asleep, things do happen that you're unaware of as a physical being. Um, so grounding, breathing, big deep breaths, two great big deep breaths
Mhm.
in and then longer out
Mhm.
helps massively.
Yeah. Beautiful. You are doing all the things. I love it. I love it. So now let's get to this part here. Did you did your awakening lead you to your purpose, your calling, your mission?
Okay, so I don't think I'm there yet. I think there's a lot more to come. I
Mhm.
have, however, this weekend just taken a angelic Reiki course to be a healer. Thank you, buddy. So I know healing's in there. I
Mhm.
know that's in there. And I know to shine my light and raise the vibration is in there. I think there's more,
Mhm.
if I'm honest, that I don't know of yet. But I
And
will know.
And it's just to embrace that, right, in itself, because you know
Absolutely.
more, right? You know, you
My
feel.
my purpose, if I look at it from Caraline,
Mhm.
the matter, my purpose is to bring peace, love, and happiness to this planet. That is my purpose as Caraline, who hasn't yet discovered the full story.
Mhm. Well, and that's your purpose is aligning with what our mission is
Oh, absolutely, yes.
for
Yeah,
each and every one of us, and it's just to, give that seed to the person that needs it at the moment, right?
absolutely. Yeah.
Which is beautiful. How are you currently helping and guiding others in their path, if you're doing it?
Okay, so I'm working with a soul sister who knows is spiritual and knows about her soul and has very good and very strong abilities, but she keeps tripping herself up. So I'm working with her to try and comfort, direct, assist along her journey, and she helps me along mine. So it hand in hand, work together. I am
Community.
also absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, I am also. I've got a future plan. No. Let's go back a little minute. So I do videos. My videos are very brief. They're very brief. They're very to the right person. They will awaken. But some people probably just go, oh, oh. But to the right person who they're meant to reach, they will reach,
Mhm.
and that's what matters. And I've got a future plan. Now, who knows if I'll get to do this? Because who knows? But I learned about the farmers as well. The farmers, they're trying to stop the farming, basically. They're trying to stop the food source here in the UK and across the world. In fact, it isn't just here. And I've I repost every farmer's video. I repost all the important ones, the messages that need to get out there to everybody. I repost those. So one of the things I want to do, now I am a healer, is go across the country a couple of times, maybe a couple of times a month, and go to the farmers who are struggling mentally with the impact of what is going on and try and realign them
Mhm.
or awaken them or whatever I need to do. I want to reach out to those farmers because we, as a human race, so if we're not talking about our souls, which live on forever, as a human race, we need those farmers. So it is important that we help the farmers be who they need to be.
Mhm.
That's my first goal. Second goal is to start working in a care home that specialises in dementia patients. This mean quite a lot to you, Annie. Um, and to start, I'm a crafter in the human body. I'm a crafter. That's what I do. And there's certain crafts I could take into these care homes that would assist the Alzheimer's dementia patients and hopefully start to bring them back. Now, my long-term plan on that is to actually open a dementia care home and bring in other light workers, ones who are good at the food side of things, ones who are nurses, ones who are this, that, and the other, and have it as a complete light worker care centre where we take away the pharmacy element, where we take away the food poisons, where we take away everything. I do the crafts with them and we do the singing and the dancing and hopefully bring some of those souls back. That's my
That
plan.
just gave me chills. Oof.
Mm,
Because, yes, that's the dementia part is very dear to my heart because I just spent a week with my father-in-law. And, energetically speaking, their soul is disconnected
yeah,
completely.
yeah, because it's been blocked. completely blocked by the poisons and toxins in the food and the water, and then the medicines.
Meds. Oh yeah, absolutely. I could see
I
a difference in my father-in-law after taking his handful of pills in the morning. It's like he was a complete different person. Like he was awake and remembering first thing in the morning, and then he took his meds, and then it's like he was a different person. It's like, oh, see, this is
Yeah, but I'm going to hopefully that is because here's the thing for you. I relate with all ages. I do. Children are drawn to me, but the elderly, they're always drawn to me. Tingling. um, and I think that's one of the purposes
hmm
is to bring them back.
yeah, yeah. Because they went through, most of them went through hell. They've gone through so much.
Well, I
And
mean, you can get Alzheimer's dementia very early now. You can get it in your 50s, can't you?
yeah,
Possibly earlier. And but some of them are 80, 90 years old, and all they've known is this cage that we're in.
yeah, absolutely.
That if you can give them even 6 months of a better life,
hmm
it's a better life
Yep.
to remember, to take
Exactly.
forth with you.
Mhm. That's beautiful. I'm really happy for you. That's huge. That's like huge. And I know you're gonna do it. I
I
just,
am.
you're gonna do it. Yeah. So now let's move to the next section, which is guidance for the listeners. For someone who is unsure if they're awakening, what signs should they look for?
Well, that's a hard question. When you start realizing that the governments are corrupt, that everything's a fraud, you are start you you are nearly there. You are
Mhm,
nearly there. Once you realize, and once you lose the fear, that's the big one. I can't stress that enough. You've got to lose the fear. Once you lose the fear and you've divulged all the factual stuff that you can find, reach out to your spiritual side,
mhm.
and then messages will start to come loud and clear.
Totally. Ugh, chills. Chills.
I got them too.
What advice would you give someone who feels lost, confused, or afraid of their awakening path?
Reach out to somebody you connect with. So you will know who is awake if they listen to you and don't doubt what you say. Reach out.
Mhm,
It's the best message I can give.
mhm.
Now, nobody in my physical close surroundings was there, but I found people on other platforms that are. Reach out, ask the question.
Yeah, yeah. It's simple.
Hmm.
Absolutely. If you could tell your past self one message during your awakening, what would that be?
You're gonna like this one, Annie. Slow down. For me personally, I was I have, and probably still do, put a lot of pressure on myself to move forward. But no, to me, it would be slow down. Take your time. Everything will come. You don't need to rush. Your journey is your journey and it will happen.
It's beautiful. Perfect. Now let's close this out with what is one truth about awakening that you believe every soul needs to hear?
Right, I've got this written down. It's your reality, not everyone else's. You constantly are learning lessons from others, and many distractions will cross your path. Use your discernment, use your intuition, trust in you, and trust in the Creator.
What would you like to leave would you like to leave a final message, an affirmation, or a frequency of hope to our listeners today?
It is so worth the ride, even when you doubt it. Make time for yourself, make time for your own peace, and just go with the flow.
It's all about the I am moment, isn't it?
Yes.
Wow. Well, thank you for opening up today and telling us your secrets. They're not going to be so secret anymore.
If I can help anybody at all, feel free to reach out to me. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Facebook. I'm on. I'm even on Instagram. I'm on. I've got three different names, so um, I am my birth certificate name on Facebook, which for anybody listening is Caraline Wood Irwin, and you will see my picture says I do not consent, and in brackets it says BadLuck Kaza. On Instagram, I'm actually called Crafty Shed because it was a business page for me when I was not awake. So it's CARAFTY_shed, SHED. And if you want me on TikTok, which is where I do spend most of my time, I cannot lie, I am actually Lara Croft and the number two, as in the Tomb Raider.
Awesome. Well, I will link it in my comments as well. I'll link all your in the YouTube channel as well.
Yeah,
Caroline, I love you. I'm
I
so
love you.
grateful that you have come into my life. I'm grateful that you've let me help you, move to the next level, basically. And thank you for being you, and thank you for touching so many hearts as well. I am so
Thank you.
grateful for you.
Thank you, Annie. To be honest, it was destiny that you had to cross my path. And this will happen for everybody out there. There will be somebody destined to cross your path, and they will. And Annie has changed me a lot. I was stuck. I was stuck. I was blocked. I was stuck. And I couldn't figure a way past that. And Annie sorted it for me. And I thank you very much for that. You are an angel. You really are.
No, stop. You're gonna make me cry. We are all angels. We are all soul, and it's just now about community and finding each other
True.
energetically if we have to. And that's
Absolutely.
what's happening now, right?
And it doesn't matter if you're 100,000 miles away from each other, you can still connect.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I do healing to people all over the world. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. I don't have to
Well,
be, I
yeah,
have a harder time healing people that are in front of me than people just online, seriously, because that's how
yeah.
I started for myself. So, thank you again for taking the time to do this with me today. Thank you for opening up, and I love you, soul sister.
I love you, soul sister. Thank you, Annie.
Thank
I
you.
needed you in my life. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing this space with us today, soul family. These stories help us all remember that awakening isn't a destination. It's a journey we walk together. If this episode resonated, please share with someone who might be navigating its own inner shift right now. And if you feel called to share your awakening story on this podcast, my DMs are always open. I would love to hold space with your truth. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and stay tuned for more conversations that lifts our vibration and deepens our remembrance. Until next time, stay open, stay curious, stay aligned with your own light.